Happy Thursday, everybody, and shalom to all of my brothers and sisters that are scattered on the four corners of this earth. I am Brother Tank, and you are tuned in to The Dark One, sponsored by Dark Team Unlimited. And this podcast is known as Information is Power. First of all, before I get started in my whole spiel, let me do something that I didn't do on our very first episode of this podcast on last Saturday, which is to give propositions big ups to my little homie, my son, Lionel Williams. This brother here created this t-shirt with this king and this queen on it. He did the intro music for our very first podcast. He's also the creator of that banner that's on that podcast, the 420, the Donald J. Trump. And like I said, he's in the background music also. I would be remiss if I didn't give special thanks to that young brother for looking out. I went back and watched that video of me and my partners, and I said that was the only thing that I would change, was to make sure I shout him out. So first two times, hit him up on all his handles: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all that good shit. Fresh, the number 2, and the word times, 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 first 2 times. Big ups to him, his family, blessings on them, and the whole shitty match. So let's get down to it, man. This is the Thursday edition of Information is Power. Again, I'm your host, Brother Tank, aka Tank Lewis, coming to you from my office, actually my wife's office, nevertheless my office. Just, talking some shit with you and spreading some information. Information is power. So very first topic of discussion I want to talk about is this real ID thing, man. This real ID thing, is it really real? It's coming. I said that eyes will be open in the year 2020, and I'm sticking to that. The real ID, eyes opening, ID, identification of all things. This ID is going to unite the entire world together on a global database. So this ID is going to take place of your driver's license and or your passport, your birth certificate, social, everything. This ID is going to be the ID of all fucking IDs, okay? But the flip side of that is, what's the consequences of getting this ID? Like I said, when you go to your local DMV to take the photo for this ID, it's going to do face recognition, okay? So if you go to Grant Park or Soldier Field, wherever you go, it can pick you out, a camera. The government can link into any camera system that they want to. Let's get that understood. So they can be watching this right now. So just because you're doing it from the comfort of your home don't mean that they can't tap in or link in. This is going to be a face recognition ID. And anywhere in the world that you go where a camera can spot your ass, okay, it's going to be able to recognize your face. It's going to be able to pull up all your information. It's going to be able to identify you in a crowd of thousands, millions, who knows. Nevertheless, what say you concerning this ID? Question. Think for yourself. Ask yourself, is this something that I'm going to be able to overcome? Is this something that I'm going to have to do to make sure I can eat, make sure I can drink, make sure I can drive, make sure I can work? These are all the questions that you're going to be having to answer yourself, ask yourself within the next year. For the state that I'm in, which is in Illinois, we have to October of 2020 to all convert or be converted over to the real ID. It might be sooner or later in your local state, but nevertheless, I believe 2020 is where they want everybody in the world to be on this real ID. This is not anything new, people. Go and do your research. These other countries, the European Economic Community, the civilized people anyway, they've all been converted over to this. They've all been accepting this chip in your hand, the mark that the book talks about, receiving that GPS on you, where it can track you, it can locate you. Like you put a chip in your dog. If you lose your dog, you can locate your dog. So we're gonna be talking about this, man. I mean, this 2020 thing is gonna be amazing. I think a lot of eyes are gonna be open, not just to identification, but I believe knowledge is gonna be continually increased. I believe the gods are here. Your Farrakhan's and your Tony Smiths and your Corey Holcombs and me and you and Phil Valentine, Brother Polite. I believe the gods are here, and all gods are here. Even the bad ones, they are bad gods. Don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? The Creator knew that there were other gods. That's why He said, "Don't have any before me," stating that I know that there are some, but none is higher than I am, and don't have them before me because I'm jealous, and my wrath invoked could be deadly for your health. So anyway, the real ID, look for it. It's coming your way. It's coming to a town. It's coming to a city, a state near you. Do your research. Do your homework. Like I said, it's going to take place of your passport, your driver's license, everything. And it's going to get down to a system where, all you have to do is swipe your finger or rub your hand against, your grocery at your grocery store or whatever, and it's going to have everything. This ID is going to link your bank accounts, your credit cards, your creditors, your next of kin. This idea is going to intermingle the entire world, and it's getting us prepared for that one world system that's been prophesied or has been wrote about. Let's talk about it. My wife brought up an interesting point about the book the other day, and it made me sit back and to consider what she said. And I don't even think, my wife is intelligent, so I know she knew what she was saying, but I had been questioning some things in the book, and she kind of made mention that, what if the book was written by the enemy or by the people who knew what they were going to perform in the future? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to write a book that on January 1st of 2020, I'm going to go find this guy, anybody by the first name Reggie, and I'm going to kick Reggie's ass. And so I wrote it down, I published it. It's in a book that in the year 2020, January 1st, I'm going to go find anybody that got the name Reggie, and I'm going to kick his ass. So basically, this is how I looked at her perspective and what she said about that. Has this truth been skewed, or is truth, should I say, perspective? Is truth fact? This is all stuff that we got to start questioning and answering and asking the Creator for, because I believe the Creator is much more than just a book. And you have to know that also. We box it in, or we box him in, or her in, or however you want to put it, but I believe the Creator is more than just a book, or a him, or he, or the air, the wind, the sun, the rain, the moon, the stars. I believe it's an infinite, and so is truth perspective, or is it fact? We say that book has been established as a matter of fact, but could it be perspective? Could these people that set up this whole entire world that we're living in right now, did their forefathers know or basically instruct, this book, this manual, for the benefit of control, mind control, religion control, control of spirituality, where you can't think or breathe or be for yourself, or to live within yourself or outside of yourself, and know that you are a higher power than what just the shell that you're walking in is based on. So is truth perspective or is it fact? Is truth a matter of fact or is it truth from your perspective? So when she mentioned that, I got to thinking about this, and then shout out to brother, I believe his name is Dane Cook. I've been watching him and another guy, Thoughts Camera Action, and they've been kind of flipping everything around, this whole slavery thing. Did we actually immigrate with an E from Africa to America, or were we taken from America to Africa? Because we were and are the native people. We were here before any European conquerors or any brown people from the south of us here in the North America, or whatever the case may be. We were here. We are the Indians. We are the Jews, and everybody has assumed our identity for their benefit, should I say. The Jew has, and the Indian has, with the reservation, the casinos, land grants, millions and millions of acres of land for imposters. These people who we intermingle with from the South, these Mexicans and Latin people that came over from Spain or whatever, created that Indian look that we are presented with on TV right now. But the Indian actually looked similar to me, copper in color, not black. And so is truth perspective or is it facts? Is the North Pole really north of us or south of us, or is this world completely flipped upside down? Because when you get in the airplane, you don't know which direction you're flying. So we can look at a globe or a map and say Mexico looks on this map south of us, but in actuality it's Mexico north of us. I mean, these are all things that we got to think about. This government, this world set up, and the way that they set up, it was all for the intent of the 1%, and truly the 1%. The 99% we don't stand a fucking chance. So anyway, it's truth, fact, or perspective. Think about it. Think about it when you go to your synagogues, your mosque, your church, your classrooms, your workplaces. Think about it, Question everything. That's on the back of my t-shirt. Please go support. We can send you these t-shirts. Find us at the Dark Ones on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. And you can also hit us up at Information is Power. You can find us everywhere. Anyway, let me keep on topic here today on this Thursday. So remember, it's truth, fact, or perspective. I'm Brother Tank. You're watching Information is Power, presented to you by Dark Team Unlimited, and I am the Dark One. The Dark One. Okay, so I want to speak a little bit about this newly elected president over in the Ukraine. Zelensky is his last name. He has one of those names that I can't pronounce, and hey, I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Anyway, go look it up. He's the new president of the Ukraine, and I was telling my partner the other day about this new presidential candidate that we have here in America, Buttigieg, that is all the way gay. I mean, Dookie falling out his ass while he's walking like asshole loosed in a motherfucker. But anyway, he is going to potentially be our next president. Has nominating Obama, let's put it like this, opened the door for not only America but other countries such as North Korea, Russia, to have dictators or prime ministers or presidents or whatever that don't necessarily follow the tradition of politicians. We have one of the ignorantest motherfucking presidents in world history. He is woefully misinformed. He is a very rich, entitled, pale-faced, knuckle dragging, cocaine snorting, pussy grabbing motherfucker. Nevertheless, Ukraine, which is in a heated war with Russia, this war is ongoing because Russia is trying to control and dominate their territory. And so, nevertheless, they got a comedian in office now. Like, how is this going to go over with the Ukraine people when he's interacting with Putin, who's a mild-mannered, laid-back type of guy? He's not doesn't strike me as a hee-hee-ha-ha type of motherfucker. Nevertheless, how is this all going over? Like, have they put him in power so that Putin can come and assume that land? Because that's what he wants. He wants Ukraine for military bases and things of that, because it's strategic. It's strategic in that area when the battle of all battles start to take place. South China Sea, Japan, all of those, in our seas also, the Atlantic, the Pacific. You know, people are going to be fighting over in those seas, their navies. This is going to be a war fought on land, air, computers, biological, and we're about to start talking about that. I'm going to segue into that. I didn't want to spend too much time on this new president for the Ukraine, but anyway, his name is Zelensky. He's a comedian, bona fide comedian, no political background whatsoever, like our president right now, Donald Trump, who's an asshole, who's an idiot. I don't know this guy, but I have to say, I mean, politics is not serious now. Like I said, these people that are pulling the strings behind the scenes, your Pope, and your Bilderbergs, your Vanderbilts, your everybody who's behind the scenes pulling the plug, they're setting these people in order right now, and they gave it to you consecutively. They were controversial in their own right, from Bush to Obama, now down to Donald Trump. Like I said, everybody, and potentially in 2020, we're gonna have the first openly gay president. That gay agenda is real. Watch it. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. From, you know, back in the day, you know, if we saw a man kissing another man, it was on Cinemax at 12 o'clock when your ass was supposed to be sleeping. You didn't have no business up watching that. Now it's on ABC. It's on NBC. It's in the daytime. It's on cartoons. It's everywhere. They are pushing this agenda. This is their ideal of society, because they are homosexual in their own right. They are butt plugging motherfuckers. These people, these knuckle draggers, the pale face, and they've created an environment of homosexuality, and it's not right. Regardless on you a Bible believer or not, I don't know, but it's not nature for man to enter another man. It's just not. It's not nature for a woman to lay with another woman. It's not. And so, and I'm dealing with nature. This is nothing having to do with the church, the black church, the white church, whoever church. It has nothing to do with anything. I'm speaking of nature. When you see the lion roaming through the jungle, he's looking for a mate. If he's running with the males, it's because they're trying to conquer a territory. They're not laying with each other. They're looking for lands to possess, women to have, children to make, food to eat, and live. And so, and I want to keep it at that. Like I said, if you lay with a man, that's your thing. You do what you want to do. Anyway, we're going to segue into this chemical warfare that I was speaking of earlier, because like I said, all of this stuff is working behind the scenes, and they're getting us from every angle, people. They're getting you in the air, they're getting you in the water, they're getting you in the food, and now we're going to talk about another state, this chemical, biological warfare that they're fighting with us right now. So there's been an outbreak of measles, mumps, And there's another one. I think it starts with an R. I'm going to look that up, but nevertheless, the measles and the mumps have made a comeback. And if you were a child of the 70s and the 80s, we remember getting measles and mumps shots. Nevertheless, they started vaccinating a couple of years ago for this when the quote-unquote virus was not even on the scene. So they injected you. If you got these viruses a couple of years ago, and you're developing these measles and mumps now, they injected you with that vaccination and they put it in you, and now you're reaping the result of this vaccination that you're taking on. So what is this? When you go to the doctor or whenever you go do whatever you're going to do, they're fighting us chemically also, biologically also, in the air also. Like I said, this world was set up, this world that we're living in is set up for the 1%. And that's the way they want it. That's the way they're going to have it. They have their bunkers. They have their shelter in place. They're going to go there and they're going to exterminate, and they're going to wait until the population is all the way down. And that's what it is. And it's something that it's like a locomotive train. It's not going to stop. What you need to do at this point, dark man and dark woman, and I'm speaking directly to you and those who believe in a point where they can be engrafted in into this family, but especially to the dark ones. Get ready, get prepared. Jacob's trouble is on the way, and like I said, it's moving like a locomotive right now. If you are watching and you see prophecy or what was written before time that they knew that was going to happen in the latter days, as my wife eloquently put the other day, and it put something on my brain, like it really did. So like I said, I'm not questioning the book at this point, but it definitely put something on my brain. But all of this was spoke of in the book, the chemical warfare, the biological warfare, all of these curses coming on us, famine, at least a third of the population of the earth wiped out, and so look forward to all this stuff. And they're saying that they're coming up with 100 different vaccinations by next year. 2020 is going to be a riveting year. It's going to be a year like no other year, I believe, before time and even after time. I believe 2020 is going to be the year of all years, and I'm not saying it's the end. I'm not an end time believer. I believe it's appointed for man to die once. So what is truly the end? Is it the end, or is it the beginning of something else? And so I'm not going to talk about vaccinations, whether you should receive them or not. Me personally, fuck them. But nevertheless, like I said, they are going to make this law where you have to get vaccinated, where your children are going to have to get vaccinated, and what are you going to do about it? And if you don't do anything about it, we're going to know where to come find you, because you're going to have this real ID, and you might even have the chip in you, so you can run but you can't hide. And if you don't, adhere to this, we're gonna take care of business. So, nevertheless, I want you people to be informed. This is Information is Power. I am your host, Brother Tank. Thank you for allowing me to come into your homes again. We will be doing another podcast within the next week. We will have Yo Funky Ass President Donald J. Trump. He will be joining us again for topics ranging from his presidency to him just being an all-around dickhead. We're going to talk about a lot of different things, and we're going to expound a little bit more on what we talked about today with the real ID, with this newly elected president in Ukraine. Truth. Is it fact or is it perspective? And we're going to talk to him about this vaccination, the spooky shit going on. It's going to get real spooky, people. And he that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. I believe in that. And like I said, I don't believe that it's a Sunday morning or a Saturday morning thing. I believe it's just a spiritual thing, that we are spirits trapped inside of the shell. And when it's all said and done, we're going to be spirits once again. That will never die. And that I do believe. It's just, I believe it's a part of nature's course, and it is what it is. And so I'm your host, Brother Tank. Thank you for tuning in to Information is Power. Like I said, we'll have a panel for you guys next week, including your president, and we're going to discuss this in detail. So go log on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, the dark ones. I'm your host, Brother Tank. Until next time, signing off to all my brothers and sisters scattered to the four corners of this earth. Shalom and assalamu alaikum, and I bid you a farewell.